Hello and welcome to the Blue Wolf channel. Our goal is to make life better for anybody that watches any of this. Be it for money, be it for health, be it for cooking, just about anything that we have life experience in, we're going to share with you and try to make your life better.
Alright, today we're going to be making a beef roast with vegetables on the side or under it, however you want to call it. Start off by getting your roaster, and I'm going to grease the heck out of everything using avocado oil because it's got a really high smoke point and it's natural and there's no silicone or anything like that in it. And it doesn't have any kind of flavors. It doesn't interfere with what you're eating. I'm just giving it a bunch of squirts down here because I'm going to use a paper towel to wipe around everything, and then I'll hit the roasting rack. And we'll come back. Okay, the pan is good, but now it's time to actually do the rack. This is what the meat's going to sit on. The vegetables are going to sit below this and around this. Don't want the meat directly on top of the veggies. Although I have done that with turkey before. It works out pretty well. But with beef roast, I'm going to go a little more traditional method. Oh, another little handy tip is already have dishwater in your sink because you're going to get greasy doing this. So I set this down. I go directly to the dishwater to get the grease off my hands so we can be safely working with knives for the rest of this process. Also, a trash bowl is handy. Now I'm going to start with the heavier root vegetables. Specifically, I'm using baby carrots and potatoes. Potatoes haven't been diced up yet. I want to see what kind of pan space I have. Looks like I'm going to need a lot of potatoes, or maybe more carrots. I think I'll just do more carrots. Then baby carrots cost a little more. We get them on sale pretty regularly, but I don't have to do anything to them. It saves me the time of cutting them and peeling them and all of that. Just poking them down, making sure nothing's laying on top of anything else. Next, I have some potatoes I've already cleaned. I'm just going to dice them up and throw them in. For that, I've got just a nice heavy chopping knife. It's got a good blade on it, so I don't hurt myself. Easiest way to get hurt in the kitchen is with a dull knife. Cutting it in half and then about 3/4 inch cubes after that. And I'm just going to keep piling them in until the cover or the bottom of this roaster is covered. Again, the goal here is just to cover the bottom. I don't really want to pile too high because I want some air circulation around the roast, which is going to sound kind of silly once you see what else I'm doing here, but everything else is more lighter weight. These things are thicker and they take a little longer to cook. Everything else is just for flavoring. Okay, that's the root vegetables, and that's the base for this, the vegetable portion of this dish. I'm also going to hit them just a little bit pink Himalayan sea salt. We'll be coming back to that again later, as we're going to build the next layer here. Actually, I've got some chopped green onion that just needs to be used, so it's going to add a little color to it. Sprinkle it in here. Of course, they'll all wilt and collapse, so there's be little green specks in here, but it's a different flavor from the other onion I'm about to add to this thing. Like I said, it's the green onion or the punch onions or whatever you want to call them. One of the nice things about making a roast with vegetables. You look around whatever you got. If it's getting old, throw it in. No really rules on this. I've done this enough times that I know about how much of each thing goes in and what they're going to cook down to. The next thing to put in is I've got multiple stalks of celery that I've cut into about 3/4 inch diagonals. 3/4 inches, pretty much the rule for all the big chopped veggies. And we'll sprinkle those around the outer edges. Don't want too much of it in the center. Again, I'm trying to keep the roast away from the vegetables a little bit, just so some air can get through the heat. So heat evenly. Now these also will wilt down a little bit, and they'll retain their shape, but they're going to give up a lot of their moisture. But they'll keep the fiber and their nutrients. And you don't want to eat just root vegetables. I mean, you should have a salad of some sort, and this doesn't qualify as salad because it's cooked, but it's nice to have a bunch of fiber with your beef. It's just the old man in me, knowing what happens. Alright, now I'll give you a close-up of what this looks like before I get to the next level. You see, I can already smell it, and it's not even cooking. It's going to be wonderful. Next layer, I've chopped up some sweet onion. They're not the classic Vidalia, that's not available this time of year around here, but these are sweet onions from Aldi's, and they're usually pretty good. And again, this is for aroma. These definitely will cook down. In fact, they'll darn near disappear in this process. But they'll give up their juices and help flavor everything else in here. And again, it's mostly around the outside. That's why it's taking a little longer. No, I just wedged these things and broke the layers apart. Again, this is mostly just for flavor, and it's a negligible amount of fiber, but there will be a couple chunks that live through it, but most of them will collapse down to about nothing. Again, I'm piling it high on the outside. I'm still leaving space under the rack that the beef is going to sit on. Got one other thing to do before we start working on the beef. I don't want to contaminate the cutting board just yet. Get these pre-peeled cloves of garlic. At Aldi's, they're pretty good. Problem is, you gotta keep an eye on them. They're only good for like 2 or 3 weeks, and they start going bad, going slimy. So have a use in mind before you buy them. Got a bunch of cloves here. Got something in mind for the bigger ones and the little ones. On all of them, I just like to cut the little root tip off. It screws with the texture of things. The bigger cloves are going to get diced and just thrown on top of this. And the smaller ones are going to get crushed and put in little slits in the roast. I'll show you that in a few minutes. And yes, I'm a garlic freak. This is going to end up being like a whole clove of garlic. Not just the little pieces, but the whole bulb. Anyway, I'm about to dice up a bunch of garlic. Just throw it in a pile and start chopping. I am actually a professionally trained cook. Not chef, cook. As in, you know, Bob Evans, Denny's, that kind of thing. But I never had to be fast with a knife. And, well, don't like things flying all over the place because I don't like to clean the whole freaking kitchen if I go crazy with the speed on this and things just start popping and bouncing around. You know, those chefs and cooks you see on TV, they've been done 5 minutes ago. Like I said, I'm in my happy place. I'm not in a hurry. Okay, just gonna sprinkle it all over the place. And yes, you get garlic smell on your hands. If you don't know how to fix that already, you can do it with silver or just a good scrubbing in dishwater, which I happen to have handy. So, and like I said, I like garlic. I don't mind if a hint of it is around as long as it's not sticky. That's one thing about garlic. You chop it, it gets very, very sticky. And that's it for this knife and the diced garlic. Now we're going to start working on the actual roast itself. Fairway had roast on sale the other day, so I bought a bunch of it. I turned up about 5 pounds of it into beef jerky a couple days ago. Actually, today I posted a video on that. But this is the biggest of them all. And you can see right here. Gotta be careful, you don't want to get beef juice on everything. Overall, that's a pretty nice roast, and it's got some marbling right down the middle, but I'm not going to cut that out, and it doesn't really have any kind of fat cap or anything. So all I got to do is poke a few holes and put some garlic in it. The other day, I made a video about making beef jerky and commented that out of all the knives I had in my kitchen, none of them worked real well with getting silver skin off meat. Now this doesn't have any silver skin, but this is the knife I use. It's a Ozark Trail 6-inch fillet knife. Thing is razor sharp. I could probably trim my beard. And I've got 1, 2, 3. I got 10 cloves of garlic. So I'm gonna make 10 little holes. There is one thing I still have to do with garlic. You know, a lot of people will just shove garlic cloves in, and it works just fine for them. I like to release the oils in them and get a little more flavor out of them. And I do that for this particular purpose by simply just crushing them. One at a time under the knife blade. Swish and you're done. Close the garlic, meet your new home. Stick my finger in a little bit to widen the holes that I just cut the knife. But finding them is a little harder than I thought it was going to be. Alright, yep, it's overkill, but I have just stuffed 10 cloves of garlic into this nice roast. Anyway, like I was saying, the secret to Texas brisket is Lawry's seasoned salt. I don't have Lawry's because I don't use it on hardly anything except for brisket, and I haven't made one yet this year. It's my first beef roast this year, so I'm going to try it on it. It's not Lawry's, it's the That Smart brand, which is the cheap grocery store brand for our local grocery store chain called Hy-Vee. I don't know where you're at in the country, you might have them, you might not. They're on the lines are on par with your Kroger's, your A&P's, that kind of thing. Big stores. Anyway, healthy sprinkling on all sides. And beefy hand. Wash that. Everything is salted. And put it on the rack. Wrap up this nasty beefy stuff. And the hand is still dirty. Took all the juices inside so I can handle it without having to wash my hands every 20 seconds. Anyway, it's about to go into a 325 oven for at least 2.5 hours. Come back in about 2 hours and insert some cold thermometers. I'm not going to do that right now, but we'll come back when it's time. See you in about 2 hours. Alright, we're at about the 2 hour mark. At the 1 hour mark, I went ahead and inserted 2 probe thermometers so I could track where the meat is. Now, according to that, the green one, it's almost done. The other one doesn't agree. Kind of hard to see through there, but the one coming in from the right is about done, but the one coming from the top is not. Anyway, I'm going to intentionally overcook this, simply for the fact that I'm the only person in the house that doesn't think red meat means it's raw, and it's way too big for me to eat the whole thing. So I'm going to take it up to about 150 actually, so it's going to be well done. I know that's a waste of a roast, but I can't eat the whole thing and nobody else in this house will eat it if it's not cooked all the way through to their standards. Check back with you when it's ready. Well, it looks like the red thermometer is going crazy on me. Thing has fluctuated between 146 and 130, all different temperatures in between for like the last minute. Anyway, like I said earlier in the video, I know I'm cooking it past where I should, but it's the only way to get the other people in this house to eat it. So give it another 3 degrees and I'm going to pull it. And that's close enough. I'm going to call it, so I'm going to take it out and tent it. It'll probably carry over some more anyway. I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. And this is what the finished product looks like. Now I'm pleasantly surprised that the onions stayed fairly well intact, probably because we didn't tent it and didn't use a lot of steam in this particular one. But I've tested the carrots and the potatoes, they're all tender, so the rest of it should be pretty good. Now I'm going to tent this thing and let it rest for at least 15 minutes, and then we'll look at cutting it up and having some dinner. Tented and waiting. Okay, I'm going to split the difference here. Cut the end, it's well done like most of the house likes it. Cut in the middle, it's a little more done than I want, but good enough. I want to keep half of it and the other half's going back in the oven so that people can have the well done stuff they want. There you have it. Roast beef and roasted vegetables made with it. Time to eat. See you on the next one. And now the other half of the roast that the rest of the house is going to eat. Crazy. It's going to be tough as hell, but that's the way they like it.
Thank you for watching this video from the Blue Wolf channel. If you enjoyed your content and want to see more, please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. Thank you. Good day.